They never asked me what I wanted. Not when they chose my schools. Not when they chose my friends. Not when they chose the clothes that hung in my closet like uniforms. From the moment I was born, my life was drafted like a contract. Every year was another clause. Every achievement another signature. My parents liked to say I was fortunate. Fortunate to grow up behind iron gates. Fortunate to have a name that opened doors. Fortunate to live in a house so large it echoed even when I whispered. But fortune, I learned early, is just another word for control. Our estate stood on a hill, surrounded by manicured lawns that looked unreal, like they had been painted into the landscape. Inside, the floors shone like mirrors. Family portraits lined the walls, generations of serious faces staring down, reminding me that I was not an individual. I was an extension. I was the heir they designed. My childhood was filled with lessons, not memories. Piano at 6, etiquette at 7, public speaking at 8, languages at 9, every hour scheduled, every moment supervised. When I cried, I was told to compose myself. When I questioned, I was told to be grateful. When I dreamed, I was told to be realistic. They didn't want a daughter. They wanted a successor. I learned how to enter a room and command attention. I learned how to negotiate, how to network, how to charm without revealing anything real. I learned how to smile when insulted and nod when dismissed. What I never learned was how to live for myself. By the time I turned 24, I was already tired in a way sleep could never fix. The announcement came on a winter evening. Snow fell softly outside, dusting the hedges and lining the driveway like a path of powdered silver. Inside, the house glowed with warm light. Guests arrived in expensive coats and polished shoes. Crystal glasses chimed. A string quartet played in the corner. It looked like a celebration. It felt like a sentence. My mother wore a gown the color of champagne. My father stood tall and proud, greeting investors, politicians, old family allies. I stood between them, wearing a dress chosen weeks ago by a stylist who had never asked what I liked. The man beside me was handsome in a careful way. Perfect posture, perfect smile, perfect family background. I knew his name. I did not know his soul. My father cleared his throat. The music softened. Conversations faded into expectation. Tonight, he announced, we celebrate the future of our family. Applause filled the room. He placed a hand on my shoulder. His grip was firm, not unkind, but unmistakably possessive. My daughter is now complete. The word echoed inside me. Complete. As if I had been unfinished before. As if my entire existence had been waiting for a final transaction. I looked at the faces around me. Smiling, approving, calculating. Not one of them looked at me like a person. I glanced at the man who was now supposed to be my future. He met my eyes, searching for something. Maybe permission, maybe reassurance. I gave him a polite smile. Inside, something fractured. That night, I stood alone on the balcony, the cold biting through silk and skin. Snowflakes melted on my hands like tiny goodbyes. Below me, the guests laughed, toasted, celebrated the perfect union. I stared at the gates in the distance. For the first time in my life, I imagined walking past them. No driver, no security, no schedule, just me. I realized then what terrified my parents most was not failure. It was freedom, because freedom cannot be designed. It cannot be inherited, and it cannot be controlled. I had been raised to carry a legacy. But for the first time, I wanted to carry myself. And somewhere deep inside, beneath years of obedience and expectation, a quiet voice finally whispered,